Check, check. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How's everybody's Sunday so far? Gail says, great Sunday. Very nice. Rena, good to have you. As always, let me know if you got a couple ideas that you're eyeing. I got a couple on our watch list. DraftKings, Oxy, Walmart. Again, a lot of charts kind of sort of look the same. So we'll see what we find. Maybe someone else will point something out different on a chart or something. BKRB, I'll write that down, Gail. Or BRKB. That's banking, I think, right? Is that Berkshire? I believe. Man, these Sunday scans are either people don't like me or they're busy or football or what. It's all right. We don't need 50 people. Smaller classes, we can kind of do whatever we want, chart whatever we want. So we'll give it a few more minutes, guys, and I'll do one last premium tag and then we'll get going. But well, then I guess it's just us guys. That's all right though. Hopefully, you guys get something out of this tonight. Got most of the regulars in here, but if anyone is new, my name is StartedWith, guys. I'm one of the staff members here at OOT. So glad to have you guys in here. It's the Sunday scan. We kind of build a game plan for the week, talk a little bit about what happened last week, some thoughts, stuff like that. That is a couple things I kind of want to. Starbucks, yeah, I'll add that as well. Gail. Yeah, and you guys just joining, just put it in the chat. I'll write it down as I'll try and keep an eye on the chat tab. See what we got for requests. But yeah, hopefully you guys read Tilio's newsletter, kind of got a game plan, what he's thinking, what we should be thinking, obviously SPY, we got our rate cut on Wednesday, and then we proceeded to gap up, kind of printed a doji, I guess if you want to call that a doji. I'm not sure how long the legs top and bottom need to be. A little bit indecision candle here. And then Friday gap down, but a big bounce, all-time highs, which if you weren't selling your puts there, when you're buying puts, you're late to the party because that's a big bounce and where we closed. That's 565 to 560. That's a pretty big bounce. But yeah, market's definitely bounced, at least for now. We'll see if we get the follow through. They liked the rate cut idea or sentiment, that is. I'll come back to SPY in a second. Qs, they did, if you're in my lecture, last couple Sunday lectures, this 475.56, remember that big consolidation, the big pivot, the big zone over under, kind of, keep rejecting, take your puts there, any gap over and dips, buy your dips to their Qs. Qs have not made a new all-time high. We are 5% off at 5.5%, so from a tech standpoint, we still got, there's still some upside if you want to be, have your name or your hat in the game for tech, but we got this zone here. Definitely that I want to eye on Qs before I get too into depth on that, but I just kind of want to point that out. So SPY, definitely new all-time highs. Again, an open and a close, it's not a big body candle, full body candle, but, we did close higher. So I guess that's something to take note of. But another thing I want to bring up, you guys, not to be blind bullish or blind bearish, just some things I'm seeing here. So I'm going to the weekly chart now on SPY. And if I can do this without screwing this up. So if you guys know anything about divergences, with the RSI, I don't like to talk about RSI a whole lot. I want to be very careful when I do because I think people use it wrong. I don't use it on shorter time frames like intraday, 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute, whatever it is. I use it for longer time frame confirmations, just to kind of see, and for you guys who don't know, RSI is, relative strength index. So basically the strength of the push or the sell, stuff like that, the relative strength of it. And so I'm on the weekly time frame here. I just want to point out some things that I'm seeing. Usually when you make new highs, whether on the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly, you want to see the RSI making some new highs too. And when I show you kind of what we're doing, recent price action, this is some price action here back in 2021. Now, obviously, it's in hindsight, and obviously, if you're trying to short this uptrend, you're wrong for 6 or 8 months. Um, it did we did get the breakdown, but you can see when the price action moves higher, again, we're on the weekly, and the RSI is not doing that. And at the same time, down here, when we get some sells down here, and we get a lower move in the price action, but we don't get a lower move in the RSI, that's kind of my bread and butter to find some reversals here. And so going back to what we got this week, I'm not just saying be bearish, but I'm just saying be cautious, because this is a pretty big divergence here. We're pushing up from this July 15th. Basically this consolidation zone here, but I drew this line here. If you can see how my crosshairs are synced up here, move it down closer, maybe zoom in a little bit as well. You can see there's a pretty big divergence there. And I only like to point it out, like, again, when I see stuff like this on the weekly or maybe the monthly, stuff like that. But, we pushed up back here, made a new high here. RSI kind of matched it, and then we got a dip down. But now we're making new highs, not, the greatest weekly candle, but it is, an upward weekly candle, a little bit of wick on top. This RSI showing, some hidden divergence possibly down here. And so for me, what's going to happen is we're going to consolidate up here around this all-time high zone, 563 to 565-ish. And we'll kind of do what they call like an RSI reset. Well, this will kind of flatten out. And when we leg up, this is going to follow. Or what's going to happen, or potentially happen, is this divergence on the strength of this push may play out. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen a week, 2 weeks. We don't know, but it's just something I like to point out when I see stuff like this on the weekly time frame. Whenever we close out the week, and everything on the watch list too, I go the weekly, I go the daily, and I build a game plan for Monday. I don't put too much thought into exact levels on entry because stuff really changes. Pre-market data, stuff like that, we could gap up or down. And so I don't put too much thought into the levels, but I do mark, certain levels of interest and stuff like that, stuff when I'm looking for stuff like this. And so this is just something to watch. Again, yeah, it's been building for several months, but this kind of stuck out. It's a pretty big divergence there on the RSI. So I'm going to go back to regular chart, go back to the daily to kind of figure out where we're at. Does anybody have any questions on a larger time frame before I scale this down just a little bit and go into kind of what I would do on a game plan from a day trade perspective? There we go. No questions. If not, all right, that's fine. So I guess for tomorrow, you guys, SPY, again, this is just day trade perspective. Gail, on SPY, yeah, it's more of, again, it's not just grab puts and just wait for something to happen, wait for it to break down. But that's a good question. I'll kind of get to that here. For me, Telio touched on it a little bit on the newsletter. So now, guys, I'm on SPY still. The 15-minute is on top. The 1 hour is on the bottom. If it's hard to see, let me know, and I'll just shrink it down to one chart. But for me, you guys, I really want to see a break under this red line here. It's the old all-time highs, 563.9. We'll just call it 564. For me, what I want to see, whether, say we gap down somewhere down here tomorrow, just hypothetically, I want to see a push down below it and rejections there to get into puts. Or let me back up to Gail's question, to get into longer swing puts, whether it be a play I want to see play out or something like that. But until then, this old all-time high zone, it is support. We should treat it as support until it's not. Okay, we can't, yes, I pointed out some big divergence on the weekly, but it doesn't mean just by, October 560 puts just because. We want to see some weakness. That can be, again, coming down under this old all-time highs and getting rejections. coming to this recent level and seeing rejections. When I say rejections, I mean like the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour. So like Monday, Tuesday, if we push, I'll just build some game plan for you guys just quickly. So like 569 zone, if we start pushing, rejecting, close under it Monday. Tuesday, pushing, rejecting. That's where I'm leaning. Okay, we have two, we have Friday rejection, not closing over it. Hypothetically tomorrow, hypothetically Tuesday. And so that's where I, to be bullish, my caution, just rises just a little bit more. And I want to lean more bearish. But again, I'm not just going to buy puts just because I want to see rejections, and when you buy puts, it needs to make sense where to do it, why to do it. And so for long swings, I want to see, because if we're breaking over this and we're pushing, if it's a slow grind, we're still pushing. And you never want to be, you don't want to take puts here and ride this whole thing up here. And then you take it all the way 572, 573. Now you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll sell now for a loss. You never want to do that and just fight because you're holding these puts for a loss, even if they have 2 weeks time. And it's like, you could have sold for minimal loss down here if you took puts here and rode the wave, hypothetically Monday or Tuesday, the whole way on calls. And so you never want to have money tied up and just have your bias stuck with it or just stuck on it. Just play what the charts give you. But for me, this 569.3 for tomorrow early, because obviously that is this spot here. That's that spot there. That's a big rejection. If we push into here, this 569.35, and you're late to the party on calls, and you take your calls there, and we get a big smackdown. You're like, well, why do we reject there? It's like, well, duh. I mean, that's a pretty big rejection Friday. Okay, so let's see where we open Monday pre-market. Build a game plan. But for me, 569.3, or if we kind of open below. If we open somewhere down here and we start coming below here and we push up here and we start seeing rejections here, which is this zone, then that's my green light to get into puts as well. And so does that make sense to bring on SPY on the game plan? Everybody probably does a little bit different. So I want to make sure it makes sense to you guys. And again, this is, generally speaking, this is for day trade thesis. But again, if we start showing some weakness down here on these all-time highs, I will look to be getting some longer-term put swings because to me, again, on a larger time frame, we can see that red line there. That was a good little bit of consolidation there. And then back here from, what was this? This was back in August, early August. So you'll see, we start selling underneath that red line, you can see what was or should be very strong support is no longer, at least for the time being. And so for me, long swing, long dated puts, because also, you guys, this purple line here is the daily 9. So it's going to slowly start to creep up here. So if we start to consolidate and we get the 9 kind of doing this, and now we're opening and getting rejections, now we're rejecting underneath the daily 9 moving average. And so for me, that's your confirmation number 2. We're getting closed under old all-time highs. You're back under the moving averages. And that's kind of how I would play that. Chen, would SPY 556 be okay for tomorrow day trade? 556. It depends where we open. If you're talking a 0 DTE, I do not like it because say we open here at 569. Let's say we open somewhere in here, and I don't like 556 here. But if we open somewhere down here, yeah, 556 all day long. 556 because you got basically 556.3. A tight stop would be 20 cents, maybe 30 cents. So you're only going 30 cents more out of the money, on that 556 put. But that 556, I want to see us open below here hypothetically, or we could range because Mondays we typically range. So if we range here, and we get some pre-market data or some pre-market moves here. And on Tuesday, we open down here under 556. Yeah, I love 556 puts for sure. But if we open around 569, 569.5, you take a 556, you're $3.50 out of the money. It's a 0 DTE. If we range up here, you're just getting chopped up, not only because of decay from it being a same day expiration, and now you're also $3.50 out of money. So the strike must make sense to you guys, whether it's SPY, SPX, Tesla, Nvidia, whatever it is. Your strike prices have to make sense. Does anybody have any questions on that? Anything at all? Okay. I'm gonna quickly touch on cues, build a game plan, and then I'm gonna go to your guys' requested tickers, and I'll come back to big tech. So someone requested any big tech names, I want to start with your requests because I want to make this hour worth it, make it for you guys. QQQs, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's go back to one chart, build a game plan, see where we're at. Let's go the 4 hour, just kind of get a game plan, see where we're at. I'm gonna draw a line on Friday to see our Friday rejection, if it made sense, why it made sense, and right away it stands out to me. So guys, if we look here, Thursday and Friday price action. Thursday, sorry if it's a little bit small, I'm gonna zoom in a second. Thursday, big breakout, obviously on that 4 hour candle, but the next 4 hour we're still underneath it, and ultimately reject under 484. Friday, first attempt on that 4 hour candle, 484 rejected, and that second 4 hour candle right to the penny basically. So 484, why did it reject? Does that level make sense? It does to me, absolutely. That is the zone. Let's check it. That's from August 22nd. Big push, huge rejection. That's our zone from July 23rd. Our zone from July 18th. And you see when we get over it, we make big moves, get over it, make big moves, and another rejection, 628. So to me, QQQs, slightly easier to play because we have more volume to work with. So tomorrow, you guys, let's zoom in on that dual chart. QQQ, 484. We open here, somewhere around here, pre-market. Say we do one of these things, we open, we push. If we open here, I am not bullish at, get off this real quick. I guess it's, to be more accurate, 483.71, 483.71 if you guys want to mark down your chart. If I'm late to calls there, I am not a call buyer here because I would probably, I could be wrong, but I would expect a fake breakout, fake out candle here and a rejection on first attempt again. I could be wrong. We blow past this, but if we do, what are we going to do? We're going to wait. If we miss that breakout, we're going to play the breakout retest for calls there. For calls, the retest, and try and catch a bounce. Okay. If we sell under, you cut. Easy cut would be below this Friday zone here, 483.50-ish zone here. If we trickle up and I see this push down, chop, push up, double top, smack down, I'm short-term bearish on the day or intraday or for the day. I'll be bearish there because I'm seeing hypothetically 2 rejections early today, Friday, a rejection from Friday, and Thursday zone as well. So to me, Qs are a little bit easier to play tomorrow just because we have more volume to work with. Let's assume we don't open there. You know, you want to mark zones 481 for sure. That's a big one. 483.6, you know, 480 round number. You can see how, you know, when you see, you know, you guys need to mark levels like this. You know, I don't have everything marked. I'll mark it for the week and I'll delete these just to keep some charts clean. But, you know, if you're late to the party down here, 43 or 478.3, that is, and you're not looking left on that big bounce there, you know, not only is that a big bounce, but now we're on the 1 hour chart down here. Like when you see a big wick like that, don't just go, oh, they bounced it. Go, buyers are there and buyers are there big time, very, you know, in a big time way. 483.3, that is a big bounce. Okay. This candle started at 480. Bears sold it down $2, $2.50. They didn't close it. And bulls said, wait a minute. Buyers said, wait a minute. And they closed it, you know, a round trip. They closed at 478 to 481. A $3 move on Q. That's a big move there. So when you see big wicks like that, you guys, on larger time frames, you always mark them. That's why I don't like the 1 minute. I don't like the 2 minute because intraday you can't see. I mean, you can see this bounce in the 1 minute, yes, but like when I zoom out on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, like this is obvious to me, big buyers. Okay. And previous stat, look at that. Big sellers, big rejection there. Okay. So again, let's say we gap down. We sell through this. I'm bearish until this is reclaimed because I'm expecting, I want to see a smackdown like this on puts. Okay. Break down underneath, retest, grab your puts. If not, we break over. Guess what? Double bottom from Friday. You know, be cautiously because we sold. You're fighting a downtrend hypothetically. You know, buy the calls there, ride it up, ride that trend all the way up into this range here from Thursday and Friday, and the range from earlier back then. So QQQ, a little bit easier. Again, that's big tech that doesn't know your Apples, AMD, NVIDIA. That's what's in QQQ, you guys. And so I believe it's Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, I think, are the big three. Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA possibly are the big three. So you can almost just watch those three and you get your daily trend on Q, basically. Okay. Requests from everybody else. Bonus question. Do you see a pullback? Amazon. Cool. Nick, I'll get to that quickly or in order that I see them. Gail is first. BKRB, I think. Yes, there we go. All right. I see my yellow dash line, guys, is the daily 9. My green is the 20. So let's zoom out since I never played this. Let's get a game plan where we're at. This is probably all-time highs. Yes, I would assume so. Okay. Back to the daily we go. Let's build a game plan. So I like trading stuff I haven't traded before because it's a clean slate, no bias. So right away, I'm going to go into drawing mode and I'm going to find a couple levels quickly on the daily that stand out to me and why they stand out. I'm definitely drawing this one here, if it lets me. Obviously, big push up, that would be on Thursday, or actually an open, not a big push up. We open there and big rejection all day long in that level. And it makes sense with that zone there. It makes sense with September 10th. You know, split the difference there on those 2 days. September 5th bounce, August 29th bounce, broke through the previous day, and the previous day before that, you know, a slight rejection. So to me, for now, you know, long-term swings, bull case. I don't want to be late on breakouts. Let me get a couple more lines in here. Okay. So I got 3 lines here on the daily. Let's see how it lines up on the hourly. Hopefully it does. And it does. Look at that, you guys. Charting is not rocket science, that is, excuse me. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. I charted that on the daily, and lo and behold, look at, we bounced on the hourly chart as well. Okay, so you guys start in those larger time frames, go down to your 1 hour, go to your 15-minute, and say, hey, does this make sense? 2 lines there definitely made sense. We got a line below. We'll wait for that one. Gail, to me, I am cautiously looking for bounces here because I know that I got a really nice zone here to play off of. I'm going to draw a little bit. Let's see here. That's less than $1 down there. So, so this would be my stop out. First and foremost, I'm looking to be bullish on this. I'm looking to play this bounce. Why am I looking to play this bounce? Because again, this 454.4, if you guys want to mark on your chart, 454.4 down to 454 flat. Okay, so hypothetically, tomorrow, again, we open here, push up dip. I'm buying dips here. I'm not saying the first 5-minute candle. I'm looking to see price action here on this zone because this is the daily 9. It's going to open like this. And so again, you guys, you know, your moving averages, your EMAs, your MAs, those are support and resistance as well. Okay, so this is support until it's not. This daily 9, bounce here, bounce there. So if you get caught in a bounce, you're like, oh, why'd that happen? Does this make sense? It does make sense. Okay, zoom out because we bounced at the daily 9 moving average. This is stacked down, daily 9 and a support level, a big support from the daily. So for me, I want to be a bull first, try and catch the bounce. I don't know option liquidity on these. 455, maybe a 456. Wouldn't go past that on a weekly. And I would use this shaded area, which coincides with roughly Friday's low. Okay, so you buy calls here right away. I don't know why this keeps resetting. You buy calls right away. You're red, 13%, 18%, whatever it is. I'll make up a number. Don't freak out. Okay, you got to have a plan before this because there's no reason to stop out here at 454 when you see this big ass bounce here on Friday. Okay, you have to take some risk. So if you enter this trade here and you're like, oh, I'm red, cut, I'm scared, and we see a bounce, and then we bounce all the way to 456, you go, what the hell did I cut for? You know, and then you check the chart afterwards. It's like when you see this big reaction here. So make a little shaded area, you guys, or whatever you want to do, set an alert, whatever you want to do on your charts. But I would be buying bounces here, Gail. On the flip side, if we come down, whether we open below it, you know, or I'm going to say the same thing, we open below it, we sell through this, you know, let's just say markets are really weak tomorrow. Big selling pressure. We sell down 50, 60 cents and bulls or buyers trying to buy it back up. I'm looking here. Do we reject this or do we push over? If we start seeing rejections, you know, I'm leaning puts, I'm leaning bearish because this is now, it was support, but it's now resistance. It's resistance until it's not. And so now you start thinking a game plan. Okay, we start resisting. I don't have any recent price action that prove that. I guess this is pre-market, but you'll start seeing wicks like this. We push up, rejections. Okay, and so this is a very nice trade. It's a very, I guess, easy to find your trade plan on this, and you're not risking much. You're risking, you know, at most 50 cents down on calls against you, or you take puts and you literally grab this stop out zone here, like you see on my charts, you guys, and you just flip it and you wait for the zone here and you look for, you know, I'm not saying it's a 60-cent move against you. I mean, you could play to that. You have to check the delta, you know, but a 60-cent move against you, you know, that's, and you, because if you bottom tick puts here and then you ride all the way up here to see if you reject, that might be a little bit painful. That might hurt a little bit. So you may have to keep a tighter stop, but it's best to look, see if you're getting rejections, maybe a double top, and then you take your puts on that double top rejection. All right, I'm gonna try and go a little bit quicker. We got some requests coming through. Starbucks is next. I'll try and roll through these quick but accurate, you guys. 4-hour chart here. Actually, I want to point this out. So pay attention to the shaded area, you guys. If you're late and you see this big rejection on the 4-hour, you're like, oh, why'd that reject? Let's go to daily. Look at that. 98. If you're trying to play the breakout at 98 and you're taking calls at 98, you're late to the party. Sorry to say. Big zone here from August, September, and September again. So to me, my ceiling, my top, whatever you want to call it, smack aligned at 98. Okay. I am not, you know, if we push up to 98, I'm not a call buyer there. That means I'm late to the party already. That is a big rejection there. You know, 98 down to, you know, we'll just call it 96. That's a $2 drop. You know, pretty big drop. Okay. But intraday game plan, what do I see? I see this little pocket here, recent pocket, that I would definitely be looking at. If anybody has any questions or thinking, why did I draw that? Why am I drawing that? This is the price action, you guys, from 1, 2, 3. This is the price action from last week. Okay. So if you're seeing a sell through, you know, get some wicks here, building resistance, you know, from last week, short term. Push up, never made it. Push up, kind of broke out, sort of closed the day below. Push up Thursday, at least pre-market. I would just call that pre-market. You know, bulls are not really winning. Lower volume pre-market, yeah, they broke out maybe if you bought pre-market. That's a big rejection. Back around the shade area. attempted breakout, again, close under it. Friday, attempted breakout, close under it. Okay, so there's a lot of volume here around 97. If you just want to draw a line or shade area at 97, that's a lot of volume at 97. Okay, what else is at 97, you guys? Our daily 9 is now going to be something like this. Assuming we kind of range, it's not going to move much. In our 20s like this. So what do we have? We have a range, we have a channel, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I'm not saying dive into puts, but watch that reaction 97. We keep rejecting. You take your puts here, you write it down to these price targets down here. We open down here, what do? You don't want to be late to puts. You can take puts down here, but you better be securing puts at Friday low of the day, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday low zone. You better be taking that. You guys always have to have a game plan. I don't care if you're late to puts and you're only up 11% and you think that's dumb. You sell where the chart tells you. And for me, the chart tells me sell down here because there's support. Okay. And the same thing, we trickle down into here. We got the daily 20 moving average and Friday potential double bottom. So you got to think what everybody else is thinking. Okay, you're not the only person in the market. The market doesn't care if you want to sell through this. Big money, they might bounce this, and you better be thinking calls first around 95.3 down to this moving average 95.2-ish. Okay. And it's kind of a tricky strike. So you're gonna have to get the 96 calls probably, which means you're 80 cents out of money. So you'll need a decent move on a Monday to get paid on this. But you bottom tick this, you catch the bounce, you ride this up to, we'll just say Friday's close, up to 96, you're doing pretty well. You catch a 75-cent move on the stock, 75% of a $1 move on your delta, look at your delta. 75% of that delta, you're gonna make that money. So Gail, I think does that answer your question, Gail? I'm trying to keep up on the chat as well. Okay. Let's see, trying to go in order again. Nick says Amazon, Google, PayPal. I'll try and get to that. I don't want to skip anybody. Amazon did have on my list. Amazon I did have my list. Why did I have this on my list? Let me see here. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, okay. So for me, this is the daily chart, you guys. I'm gonna move this up here just for speed of the lecture. Okay, Amazon, interesting spot. I'm gonna draw a line as well because I think it is worth noting. Is it a round number? And it's not quite 192. I'm getting like 191.6, Nick, if you're still in here. 191.6, look where it closed, okay? Like I keep saying, broken record, you don't want to be late to this. 191.6, tomorrow we push up pre-market, look to buy your dips there because you can see, why it matters here, didn't quite get there. This zone here, you get the point, a big rejection there, okay? So to me, this is a very, this is my ceiling, okay, until it's not. Again, market doesn't care if you want this breakout. If you swung calls, you bought calls at the close and you closed, or the market closed and you're at break even, the market doesn't care if you want this breakout. Play what the market gives you, what the chart tells you. So this is a very big spot tomorrow, very, very big spot, okay? If you buy calls and we get this big ass rejection and you ride calls, you're taking a $3 loss on the stock, like that is bad trading, okay? Chart this out, build a game plan early on it, okay? A zoomed in look. We closed at it. That's not by accident. That's computers being smart. They know how to close it, where to close it. That's those algos, So Amazon, trickle up, breakout, retest. 191.6 is your support until it's not, okay? Maybe play the bounce and you get smoked and you take a loss. That's fine, okay? Now let's have some bearish sentiment here, okay? If we take puts here, okay, where do I sell? I got puts. I top tick some puts, or so I think. Okay, Friday's high. You got some puts here. Where do I sell? Immediately, you need to be thinking, look at this wick here. Look at this wick here. Okay, for me, That would be probably price target 1, somewhere down here, price target 2, profit target, whatever you want to call it. So probably 190.6 if I get out of drawing mode here. Again, I don't care what the percent is. If I buy puts and I come down into here, you're darn right. I am selling. I'm trimming most. If it's a Monday trade, I'm probably taking, if I'm in 10, I'm probably taking 8 for sure. Okay. If you catch and that's a 60-cent move down. So, 60 cents, that's going to pay pretty nice, assuming, you top tick some puts and you write it down there, you sell. Okay. Got a really weak day. Come on down into these zones here. Profit 2, 190.5 spot there. Okay. We break over. That's where if you trust the market, believe in Amazon or whatever it is, that's where you take those long swings. When you break out of a big zone there, take some with time. You never want to see a huge rejection here, and you're like, oh, I'm in. They're October calls. Yeah, you got time, but you just bought calls at a huge rejection zone across all time frames. Okay, so wait for that confirmation. Google. Again, I'm trying to go quick, guys, because there's a lot of stuff rolling through. Google's very nice. I'm on the 4-hour. Same thing, same thesis, you guys. Let's look at this zone here. Get a little shaded action so you can see it easier. Oops. Google, interesting spot. Everyone's looking for some long swings. Is this the moment? We shall see. 164 to 164.5. That is my floor. That is my support until it's not. Okay, let's take a look at some moving averages. Green, 20 moving average, curling under. Yellow, 200-day moving average, curling under. Purple, 9 moving average. You get the point. So I don't think Lena's in here, but shout out to her. She's really, really good at swings. People say, how do you catch swings? How do you catch swings? When you see your moving averages, I'm on the daily now, guys. Pay attention. When you see your moving averages curl under like this, and they're stacked underneath you, and you have big support stacked underneath you, that's when you take those long dated swings with time, and you ride that wave all the way to 170 or whatever it is, hypothetically. $5 move in Google, that's nice. You bottom tick some calls here. You take some October 15th, 166s, 167. You take that to 170. That's a very, very nice swing, guys. And so we got 3 moving averages underneath us. They're not support yet. They're under us. We need those to catch up, obviously. But again, if you guys want to catch these long swings, that's how you do it. You catch them when you see stuff like this. When you see the moving averages curl underneath, and you get this stacked consolidation here, that's where you take those swings and you ride this wave up. This is what everybody wants to catch on stuff with 2, 3, 4, 8 weeks time, whatever it is. That's what you catch. So that's ideally you want to see this pocket here on Google for you guys to pay attention. Ideally, you want to see a little bit of consolidation here, and you want to see 164 hold. Very nice chart, very nice setup. Nick pointed that out. But there's always a flip side. So let's go the 1 hour, zoom in a little bit. This week, just talking for this week now, if I start seeing some pre-market action open here, sell down, rejections all day. Monday, re-range, whatever, rejection. Tuesday, rejection. We're going to get the hourly over us, and these moving averages are going to start catching up. And so for me, that's where if we start closing around 164, that's where I'd be taking some puts either for a day trade or for some swings, final profit target down here on these moving averages. But intraday, definitely get this Friday, Thursday price action for profit target on Google. Hopefully that makes sense. But again, you guys, 164, even to be safe, maybe 165. Over that, be bullish, stay bullish on Google. Okay, as long as 164 is holding. PayPal, I'll go over it, but I don't like it because I know what the chart looks like already on the daily. Let me back up. I don't like it for swing ideas because we have this big gap up. and this, I guess, an inside candle, I think is what you would call that, fully closing inside price action. So as far as the chart goes, recent price action, we're really far off the moving averages. Obviously, if you caught that breakout, that's great. But let's draw a line up here. Where do we reject? Why do we reject? Does it make sense? Zoom left. Yep, makes sense. Where are we at here? This is old. April 17th, 2023, you guys. This is April right here. April price action here at 75. So I'm just gonna give a different color just so we can come back to it and it stands out. So big rejection there. So again, if you caught this big move here, multi-day breakout from, we'll just say September 10th, hopefully you sold there. And for me, at least, I'm not getting long here because you're late. Okay. Let's get a spot here. And now let's zoom in. Who was this? Nick. Let's build a game plan. Nick, are you looking for swings, day trades, or just a general outlook? But for me, 77.50 to 77.58-ish, immediately Monday, Tuesday, I'm watching this price action here for a day trade, you guys, a day trade, not swings, day trade. And I'm probably even going to set an alert actually, because, for a day trade, I don't hate it, because if we push up and we reject again this 2023 level, I'll take puts here. That's fine, because if I get puts and I nail it early in the day, what am I looking for? I'm looking for price action moves like this. Okay. Do I get it? I don't know, maybe, but I'm definitely not playing the breakout here without confirmation. Definitely get a push, try the retest, but don't hold all the way down here. Don't hold your calls, 65, 70% loss, what was meant for a day trade. Don't hold if we sell all the way through. That's stupid, because you could be playing puts all the way down here. So for me, anybody watching, 77.50, big level. Friday's low, 75.47. But then we get to these larger time frames, which it doesn't really coincide here last week, but you'd have to come down to 72.71, which I know is a big one I was watching for sure. But PayPal, if we range tomorrow, I expect some consolidation. I wouldn't expect a breakout. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we break out and run to 80, tag me, say, hey, you're an idiot. That's fine. But that's a big level. And my point is, you don't want to be late just trying to buy the breakout here when we see a big rejection, because you guys, this was the first time Friday that we are here since April 2023. What is that, 18 months, 19 months? So again, you got to think that there's some sell orders still parked there, and they were. So until we break that, there's sellers parked there. So don't have too much bias there. PDD, I think that is China stuff, right? China. All right, a little big gap, dang. Assuming that was earnings. Well, ugly daily, no doubt about that. But right away, I'm seeing this line here. Hopefully you guys are charting this out with me, for you guys that want these charts. So I'm not just doing it for the hell of it. See if that lines up at all. Yep, look at that. Easy, easy, easy. Let's just call it 98 for quickness. When you see a breakout, this is October 2023. A breakout, and what are they doing? That's big money. That's buyers stepping in there on an old support, or excuse me, old resistance, flag breakout, coming back to it 3 weeks later. You better be bullish there. You better be buying your shares or whatever it is. And then you catch this big move, this amazing move. Now we gap down, and we gap down. We're consolidating here. It's no accident, you guys. This is where volume is. This is where, if you're like, oh, why are we consolidating here? This is share buyers here. This is people buying in, essentially holding the price up, saying, hey, I'm okay buying shares here at 98. Whether you're selling calls against it, whether you're an investor, whatever it is, there's people still here a year later that want shares at 98. Okay. So 98, super easy. Support, super easy. Be bullish there. until it's not. What else do we got? Daily 20, curling under. 9 is about to curl under, become support until it's not. Okay. So you got to be bullish at 98 until that fails you. Recent price action, we don't have a lot here, okay, because they gap down on ER, but we have, Friday attempted breakout, held a little bit. What else do we have here? Psych level of 100. Damn right, we're gonna mark that. Okay. What do we know about round numbers, guys? Psychological numbers. Price gravitates towards that. Okay. We open over 100, you better be bullish on it. That's a psychological level. It's a round number. It's 100. It's a sexy number. You better be bullish on that on shares or calls until that fails you. Okay. If it fails you, that's fine. We're probably going to see 98 soon if that fails you because, ultimately Friday we closed under it. Thursday, big bounce around that zone there. That was kind of that pivot zone there. So we start seeing rejections at 100. We're probably going to see 98 again. And again, you're going to have these moving averages underneath it. Okay. MCD, McDonald's, I think. McDonald's daily. Where are we at? Is that running? Ooh. McDonald's, this is what I would call like a top zone supply, top zone resistance, whatever you want to call it. Again, if you're trying to be a bull here, to me, you're late. You are late if you're trying to be bullish here because you want to buy when you get these crossovers. You want to ride this wave all the way up. You catch a $50 move on the stock. Where do you think people are selling at? Double top zone, supply, whatever it is, plus 300. Again, psychological round number. Not saying be just blindly bearish on McDonald's, but if you didn't sell your shares yet, you're late because this here, I would expect first attempt, I would expect this kind of price action here. Right here. Do we get it? I don't know, but I'm expecting some breakout fail consolidations. Ultimately, buyers going to give up or sellers going to give up there and get the breakout. But again, 300, we break out 300, you keep riding that wave, but you better get that confirmation and you better not be late to it. Otherwise, consolidation breakdowns, say we're consolidating and the markets are starting to look weak and we got the 9 curling up, we got the 20 curling up, and they're all up here, and now we're rejecting this 300. You have 3 forms of confirmation to be bearish on this. Huge resistance, and now your moving averages are overhead. And now that's where you can, cautiously, at least for me or how I trade, I'll take puts there because I know my stop out is easy. If I take puts at 300, we push up, I'm stopping out, minimal loss. Okay. I take puts, we come down, big gains potential down here. Recent price action and that huge double top zone, that old zone there. So 300, even under 298. We open under 298 tomorrow. That's easy for me. Open under 298. Friday's price action, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday's price action, Monday's price action. You got all that from last week. So essentially, ignoring this and ignoring this, after hours, your high from Friday is 298. Okay, so you got to think like big money. Like where should we reject? Where do you think they'll reject? Where do you think sellers are going to be? Don't fight the trend. If we reject last week's high, if we look at the weekly candle, it'd be right here at 298. Okay, don't be late chasing calls or trying to get calls here when we get this sell down and everyone else is cheering on puts the whole way down. Okay, trade smart. And I'm going through these quick. Oh, Chan, I can't get to all of those. That's a lot. We did Starbucks. Costco. I'm going to go over Costco because someone DM'd me about it. Costco has earnings. So I'm at the daily. Costco has earnings on the 26th. What is that, Wednesday or Thursday? So, for me, Chan, you gotta You got to day trade this because I'm not an earnings guy. So I'm not, if you're looking for an ER trade, I'm not the one to ask. 907-ish zone. Definitely a line in the sand, definitely a ceiling until it's not, 908. Up to that 910. Big spot here, and big money's going to make it tricky for us because if we gap it on earnings, everyone's going to say, well, duh, big breakout. Obviously earnings, it's because of earnings, but we have resistance overhead, big spot overhead. We got the moving averages curling underneath. And so we could very well see, this is the daily, we could kind of see this action here until Thursday comes and they gap it up or down. We don't know. Or maybe they push, maybe they run it, or maybe they reject, maybe they run it right into earnings. I don't know. But it's a very big spot here. It's tricky. For me, I would just be looking to day trade it. If you are looking to day trade it, that line again, 908.46, what's called 908.50 for a round number. That's my ceiling until it's not. I'm looking to see rejections or breakouts over. And then, if you take puts are kind of easy. You take this price action here from Friday, or we get the breakout on calls and you play the price action from there. If we look at flow, I'm not giving a bias at all. I'm just going to show you where the volume is at. Costco, biggest volume this week. Big volume at 855. Obviously, that'd be a sell down or gap down, a $50 drop. And the biggest upside, let's see, we're at 906. 925, there's a lot of volume, and 950. So that's the gamma exposure, and that probably coincides with all the volume I would expect or suspect. Costco, what did I say? 855. And look at the open interest at 855. 3,000 open orders at 855. What else? 925 and 950. I'm sure that makes sense too. 925, 411, 950, 607. So obviously there's a big spike. Do we gap down? Do we sell down to that 850? I don't know. Let's mark it. Let's pay attention. Let's come back on Thursday and, maybe we catch that move. But that's a lot of volume there. This week expiration at 850 all the way down here. Does it happen? I have no clue. Because there's times, you guys, you see big ass volume like this. People go, oh, bearish, bearish, bearish. Let's get puts. And we gap up and everyone gets smoked. Or they IV crush it. And you're like, well, there's all this volume down here. Well, that's fine. That could be your neighbor. That could be your teacher. That could be your coach. That could be your boss buying puts here. Obviously, that's a ton of money. But you get my point. We don't know what this means down here. There's a ton of volume down here. On the chart, it makes sense. But this week, that expiration, that strike, why is it there? I don't know. Let's pay attention. And then 950. Okay. So for me, Thursday, let's see if it plays out. Do the IV crush it? Do we gap up or down? That's cost. Let's see. Let's find it. Let's find out. Let me get to some other people. Norvin wants VRT. It better not be at all-time high. Good. Perfect. I can actually chart it. Easy spot here for me. And let's just do 95. 95 makes more sense. Same thing as what was that chart we're looking at? McDonald's. Hypothetically, same situation, you guys. 95, you better be securing profits because you see what happens here. 95, 95, 95. Breakout retest on 95 and it holds, be a bull. But big ass move here last week, last 2 weeks. I'm not saying be bearish, but when I see overextension off the moving averages, I'm looking for stuff like this, consolidation breather. I'm looking for consolidation, failed breakouts, consolidation here. Let these moving averages catch up. And if we break out, that's fine. We'll ride that wave. But if we see consolidations here like this, exactly this price action here, if you guys can see this, if we see this week, push up, reject. Tuesday, push up, reject. Thursday, push up, reject. Friday, if we see 4 or 5 days of rejection here at this level, the same exact price action, our moving averages catch up, I'm looking to be bearish short term on this here. But again, over it, I'll ride that wave. And 95 is my floor or my support until it's not. Airbnb, I know I'm skipping some of the names, you guys, that are multi-name requests. I just want to get to everybody to make sure everybody has a chance. A, B, and B, I think. There we go. Raheem, I think is how you say your name. This is the daily. Potentially very nice support here on the daily. So probably ER gap from August. What do? Consolidation, moving averages catch up. And if you buy shares, if you buy the fear, whatever it is down here, that's a nice 13% move on shares, you guys. So it doesn't have to be an investment, but you see consolidation like this, buyers are not winning, neither are sellers, okay? When you have 6 or 8 weeks of consolidation, you get your moving averages curling under, take some shares there because your stop out is small. If you take shares at 116.6, you stop out under the shaded area, what are you risking? 3% for 12% upside? That's a good risk reward if you ask me on shares, okay? So again, 131, we'll just say up to 132. Break over that, Raheem. Stay bullish. Again, big spot there, gap down. Does this level line up? Go back to it. Of course it lines up. Of course it lines up, you guys. Find big areas, you guys. If you see how quick it is for me to chart, not bragging, just pointing this out. Find big moves. So when you see a big move up and a down move and a bounce, you mark that. Double bottom, you mark that. Big move up, okay? When you see a big move up and rejection, why do we reject? Draw a line there, you guys. It's just charting 101. Why do we reject there? Oh, I'm late. Why did it reject? I don't know. Well, look left, you guys. Big rejection here, okay? So you guys are new to charting. I'm very quick. I don't think about it. I just look for these big pivot swings here, okay? These big pivot swings. And so this 131 here, that's a big ass spot here. So I suspect maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this price action this week, some consolidation, and that's buyers saying, hey, do we want to break out? Do we want to break this out yet? I don't know. Maybe we break out, ride that wave, take some long swings if you bottom tick off that 131 ream. But we start seeing rejections here. I'm on the 1 hour chart now. We start seeing some price action open under 131, even safer under 130. I'm not going to fight playing this breakout if it's not happening. I'll be short-term bearish. I'll get some puts on it because I'm a day trader. I just take whatever the market gives me. I don't care. Let's see how I'm doing in the chat. Sorry, guys. All right. I know the chat is super delayed. I'm sorry. But we're running long. MMM. I'm going to get MMM MU. And I'm gonna check the chat and see where we're at and see where we're at in time because I know we're going long. What a runner. Oh, 3M. Okay. This all-time highs. Ooh, no, it's not. Okay. So I'm on the weekly. And I'm drawing a line at 135 right away. Because on the weekly, that makes sense. Hopefully my charting, you guys, my thesis makes sense to you guys. I try and make it easy. So again, whoever asked this, 135. Okay. It is September 2024. And we haven't been here since February 7th, 2022. Took us 2.5 years to get back here. Okay. I say this over and over and over. You buy shares 2.5 years ago, and you hold through a 47% loss, you held, and now 2.5 years later, and you're break even, what are you doing? You're relief selling. You're like, whew, I'm out of those. Stupid hold, didn't cut when someone told me to cut down here, or whatever it is, whatever the reason is. 2.5 year hold, you're at break even. What are you doing? You're selling here to get out of break even so you can free up some money, because you held for 2.5 years when you could have sold for a loss and used that money elsewhere. So for me, again, weekly chart, 135 is all that matters. But let's build a game plan. Same thing. I'm getting repetitive, I know. Ooh, look at this on the 1 hour. Why does that not? There we go. Let's look at last week's price action, you guys. You try and play the breakout. First time here in 2.5 years. Failed, never made it. Thursday, failed, big rejection. Friday, never made it. After hours, sold down. Well, assuming this candle's accurate after hours, okay? So 1, 2, 3, that's on the hourly. 3 days, 3 rejections, whatever you want to call it. But kind of got this going. What do we see? It's a bull flag. It's a bull flag until it's not, until it breaks down or breaks out. So whoever had this in the chat, nice spot here, okay? Be a momentum trader on this. If this breaks out pre-market, or the first 15 minutes of the day, try your dip buys into 135, okay? But under 135, you got to start thinking, okay, it's another failed breakout, okay? Don't hold all the way down here. Don't hold a $2 move against you, because that's going to hurt, okay? First trade of the day, it's Monday morning. You don't want to catch calls here and hold and hold and hold and hold. And now you're down 75%. You're like, well, I guess I'll hold here because it's a trend line. And we open and we do one of these, and now you're down bad. Okay. Take the small stop out somewhere around here, this Friday zone here. Take a small stop out. Okay. Maybe we bounce and we come back over. That's fine. Get back in. But guess what? You had a small stop out. Okay. But 135 is kind of my zone there to watch this week. Actually, a very nice recent chart to play for anybody that's watched this. So over that, be a bull, play the breakout. Don't chase puts if we're just riding that. But we keep rejecting here. We come into Tuesday. Now we're under this trend line. I'm leaning day trade, short-term bearish on this because we got the 9 curling under. So very nice chart on that. Yeah, I'm behind. Let's see. All right. Swing. Christian, MU. See my conductor, I believe. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. But immediately I'm going to extend this because that's how my brain thinks. All right. Christian, we have the daily 9, this purple line that is jagged. That's going to catch up based on Friday's price action. It's going to open up somewhere around 90-ish. That's an estimate. As of now, we are over 90.75. That's a big zone here. We can see this from a week to 2 weeks ago. Big spot here, okay? And the daily 920. So if we go look at this green line here, it goes right at it. So if I go the daily, that's where we're at. That's right, we're at. So on Thinkorswim, I can chart this intraday and know always where my moving averages are. So we got the daily 20 creeping up, okay? When we see stuff like this right here, again, your moving averages are resistance until it's not. So very nice chart forming here. So your 20, that's going to reject until it doesn't. So that's going to open something like this. You probably already know what I'm going to say. So if we open here, if we open under it, go back to a zoomed in look here. Back on the 1 hour chart here. So when that curls here, if we open under, you have 2 things against you on a breakout. Okay, you have this supply, you have this resistance at 90.75, and you have the daily 20. Okay. So get your breakout retest of this level here for calls, because that's an easy stop out below. So, ideally you want to catch this bounce, and you'll probably see some wicks here on the 5-minute. Try and stop you out. But if you're on the hourly chart and you start seeing some bodies like this, these are undecided, body candles. But if you start seeing some bottom side wicks right here, that tells you buyers are still there. Okay, the breakout's not happening, but sellers are not winning either. And so buy dips, be a bull as long as this holds here, as long as it holds. But again, we opened down here and this 20, I'm thinking, rejections again. And I'm thinking I'm playing this price action here, this recent price action here on this. And so hopefully that answers your question on MU. 90.75. Very big spot here. Very big spot here recent. Okay, and it's recent, okay? And for me, that's how I trade that. That's how I would trade that. So look for some consolidation here, and just, don't be trigger happy. Like, just wait to see what happens. It's Monday morning. See what happens. If we kind of curl down here and it's midday, we've held this for like the opening range, 2 hours, take your calls, because you know your risk. Your risk is defined based on this chart here. We open under it, early morning rejection, come down, we bounce, early morning double top, and now the 20 is overhead. Now there's resistance overhead. Take your puts. Okay. So make sure there's anybody new. Michael Cooper says Apple. Let's look at Apple. Why not? Apple on the daily. I already know what I want to say. Apple on the daily. Ooh, the neighbor's smoke alarm's going off. Somebody's a bad cook. I always love that. Means your food is overdone, buddy. 233. And shout out to Tilio. I think he mentioned this in his newsletter too. Look at that, you guys. 233. You think that's a big level? I sure do. Rejected there. Big rejection on Friday. Yes, it was OPEX, I think. Big volume. Look at that volume there, down here. Huge volume. Big rejection. What is this candle here? August 29th. Big rejection. What did it do? It signaled a sell down. Every day is different. Every data is different. Yes, I know that. But again, when we close here, I can't help but have some bias on an Apple. Okay. So what am I looking for in Apple here? Michael Cooper. Hopefully you're still here. If you're not good with charting or don't have it charted, 233, you guys better have that charted for sure. 233, 230 flat. And this consolidation zone down here, 226 and 225.11. Okay. So one last look at the daily. Big S rejection there. 1 hour chart. Okay. Man, smoke alarm. If I start hearing sirens, I'm not going to help my neighbor. All right, 230 flat. Again, this is day trade plans, you guys. We open around here like this. If I see rejections here, I'm taking my shot at puts here, okay? Because I know we're under Friday's price action, we're under Thursday's price action, 230 flat, okay? That's my first trade plan on an assumed pre-market push up, okay? Push up, I'm not chasing this breakout. What am I doing? You already know what I'm doing. I'm waiting for the breakout retest on calls. Breakout retest on calls at 230, and I'm taking it to this spot here and spot here, okay? Game plan 2, we trickle in something like this. I'm looking to be a call buyer, or I'm looking to watch. Basically at 227, I want to see that reaction there. Okay, are we holding 227? Yeah, we didn't come down to it on Friday. Thursday's price action here, but we've seen when I was on that daily chart, you guys, you've seen this consolidation zone here. Lots of volume here, 227 down to 226, lots of volume. Okay, so I'm looking to see if this holds here. I'll be bullish on it. I'll be a buyer on calls to take to at least Friday's close minimum. Boom, I sell 6 of my 8, 6 of my 10, whatever it is. We push more. Where am I selling? 230, no doubt. I don't care if I'm up 20% because I was late or 300%. I'm fully out at 230. That's Thursday's big rejection. That's Friday's kind of pivot zone. Okay. So always have a game plan on the chart, you guys. Apple, fairly easy for a day trade. Hopefully answers your question, Michael. I don't know if that was meant for a day trade or swing, but that is my day trade plan. Swings on Apple. I'm not swinging long on Apple till we clear that 233 daily closes for sure. Swing Apple bearish, not till we get closes under 225, where I would take swings, because under 225, we would now cross over some moving averages and a big consolidation zone. We clear 225 on sells, we're going to start looking for this. We're going to start seeing rejections there. Getting late on this charting, you guys. Maybe one more. I'm going to chart the next one I see. Lucky winner is FedEx, you guys, and then we got to end it here. Yeah, Norvin, that is bearish. That's a bearish rejection on Apple. Good eye. Wait, FedEx, FTX, sorry. Ooh, FedEx, that had to be ER. Yep. Ugly day. Ooh, man, they got smoked. What was that? 15% down day. But guess where they sold to? Guess where they sold to? Probably a big consolidation zone. Let's slap a line here. Let's see if it makes sense, because I know it does. Look at that. Sold down here. So look at that spot there. A one-line chart on FedEx going back to July 2023. 14 months ago, that level made sense. That level mattered. Fast forward 14 months, that level makes sense to me still. So what you're probably going to see from FedEx tomorrow, early in the day, is you're probably going to see bounces. You're probably going to see some buy orders getting filled here at basically 255. Who was that asked that? Powell, I think is how you say your name. Sorry if it's wrong. 255, slap a line. Three things can happen. You're going to see consolidation, which is, this is what I would consider, this is fairly big, but this is the shade area, that's called consolidation. So you're going to see consolidation forming around here, or you're going to see a big bounce, or you're going to see a bounce and a big rejection continuation. So for me, I don't want to dive into this trade tomorrow, but I also, again, I'm not going to be just blindly bearish on this. I would, first and foremost, FedEx, I would be cautiously looking to see if bounces are holding here. And I want to be a buyer here. You got the 200 moving average overhead. So definitely, if you catch well, that's too big, a $13 bounce, that's probably too big in one day. But if you catch a multi-day bounce, you better be selling, go back to your daily, look at that 200 level. But FedEx, again, our bounce is holding here, catch the bounce, day trade it. Are we chopping consolidation, or are we selling down and you're getting rejections here, and for some continuation on some puts on that? But that's a big day on FedEx. They call it the 3-day rule on earnings. So, wait till Tuesday, Thursday, Friday this week and kind of see. There's no reason to dive into calls at the open tomorrow or puts at the open. Like, that's a big move for markets to digest. They're going to look at the numbers, obviously, something they've seen in the earnings, whether it was guidance, whether it was their numbers, whatever it was. Investors did not like that. So watch here, let it build some recent, some recent support or resistance, and then play the move off that, play the move there. Okay. Guys, I hate to cut off the one short. They're still requesting stuff, but we're 15, 20 minutes over. We're going to be charting for 2 hours if I keep going, but I appreciate it, you guys. I can get to maybe a few charts in staff chat or in DMs if you guys just have, if you're in a trade and maybe it's a losing trade or whatever it is, or maybe you want to get into trade, say, hey, 1K, send me a DM. Just say, hey, you didn't get to my question in lecture. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. Can you give me a game plan on it? Or, I'll test you a little bit. I'll say, hey, why do you like FedEx? I'm gonna make you give me a couple price targets, because I can't just say, hey, be bearish on it. I mean, obviously I give my thesis, but if it's something I didn't get to in the chat, you got to have a game plan. And I'm not doing that to be rude. I'm doing that to help you guys think and be better traders. So, say, hey, I want to get into coin. Here are my levels on the upside. Here's where I'm going to take entry on coin calls, or coin puts, and here's my profit zones, stuff like that, you guys. But put in a little bit of work. And if I see that in DMs, I'm going to help you out, and I'm going to give you my price target as well. But overall, you guys, really, really great lecture. Appreciate you guys all tonight. With that, I'm going to end it tonight, but let's have a good week, you guys. Check the news tab for some data from KC. I don't know what we have early in the week. I think midweek, I think we have some important stuff. But yeah, guys, let's have a good week. DMs are always open for those of you guys that want it, need it. And again, let's have a great week, guys. Chat to you later.